Hey guys, it's Inky here, and this week I'm doing another Draw With Me video. I'm working on one of my characters named Rhonda, doing a character sheet for her. I actually tend to like doing character sheets. I find them pretty fun to do. I like making different expressions, different poses, as opposed to just doing one whole singular piece in a drawing. And for Rhonda in particular, I find it a little difficult to draw her at times, since she's meant to have a more emotionless sort of look to her. That's the whole purpose of the way that she's designed. She's much more slender compared to the rest of the characters I draw. I tend to draw more curvaceous females, since I tend to find that what I tend to like or get drawn towards when I'm drawing. But drawing her, honestly, is kind of fun because she tends to have color schemes that I'm really drawn to, since purples and pinks, and I tend to work with more softer colors for her, at least. Now, when it comes to character design, at least how I tend to draw my characters, I don't tend to draw softer looking eyes. Most of the characters that I draw have much more sharper looking eyes by design. I'm not the biggest fan of drawing rounded eyes for them. It's just not what appeals to me, at least for character design. I do have one character that I do design to have more of a rounder look, but she's meant to be much more bubbly and softer compared to the other cast. And you'll probably notice that I also don't do a lot of details with the eyes. I don't usually like doing very super detail looking eyes that anime tends to do. I prefer to keep them more simplified, just working with shadows and simple lights. But I'm not the person that will spend an hour rendering just eyeballs. I don't like doing that. I think it looks great when other people do it, or for other character designs in anime. However, I don't personally like how it looks when I do it. I have done it quite a couple of times, but I feel like I don't make it look good personally. So I tend to just stick with more simplified eye designs. Another thing I tend to do when it comes to drawing my characters is I don't draw them with very thin strands. A lot of the hair that I draw tends to be more of a large clumps in it. I feel like every time I try to do the very minute details of trying to make it more smaller strands, just tend not to work with my style. I tend to like it when it's more of a bigger lush of hair, as opposed to smaller pieces that you would probably render in or paint individually. Again, I'm not much of a rendering artist. I'm more of a cell shade sort of artist. So my style tends to be much more cartoony in style. I've actually been told in the past that my art style tends to give more of a webtoon sort of style, which I never really thought about it. I never intended to make it look webtoony, but if that's the look that people kind of think it goes for, then I guess that's what it is. To be honest, I'm not really sure what style I can really say. It is anime inspired, very heavily so, but it's not your stereotypical sort of anime style. So I can see where people are coming from when they say that it's a webtoon sort of look, which personally I don't mind. I actually like reading webtoons a lot. Probably one of my favorite ones is Lore Olympus. I really like Lore Olympus a lot. I know there's some people who have their opinions on it, but for me, I just enjoy the story and I enjoy the characters, and I really do love the art style of it. I think it's pretty unique, and I don't see many artists going for that sort of artistic look that Lore Olympus tends to use. A little bit on my drawing style. Some people think that I just can draw something perfectly the first time, which is definitely not true. I mess up a lot when I'm drawing, and I'm constantly changing my mind. Later in the video, you'll see me struggling with her hairpiece, and I didn't know how to fix it. I was trying to make it seem like it looked like it was tucked behind her ear, but I think I kind of did a bad job at it. I don't think I was able to make it look nice, at least for me. So I ended up giving up, erasing the whole thing, or erasing that hair strand and just drawing it regularly down. I tried to, for my art at least, I tried to make it a little more dynamic, even when it's a standing still character. I don't usually just want to draw a character just standing still. I usually try to emphasize dynamic by the hair direction or the way that the clothes twist and turn or the way the body twists and turns. Sometimes I think I succeed in this, and other times I don't think I succeed. I personally am kind of hard on myself when I do art. I tend to see more of the mistakes than the successes that I do, but in a way that tends to push me to do better for the next drawing. I always find a way to try to improve something that I did, such as the way I drew clothes or the face or the hair. I guess that's how I am able to stay motivated, knowing that I can get better if I keep working at it. I know for some artists, it's a struggle to keep going and to keep drawing when you get frustrated with your own failures. I actually got really inspired recently by PewDiePie's video that I saw the other day, where he was drawing every day for a year, and the improvement that he did was honestly amazing. I know he's a little bit harder on himself, but it takes dedication to want to draw literally every single day, and I understand that he thinks, I don't remember what day it was, probably like day 83. I'm not quite sure. He believed that it was the better version that he made, which I understand because there are still art pieces that I've made a couple of years back that I still think is much better than what I do today. And sometimes I wonder if I'm able to achieve that same look that I did back then, but even though my art style may improve or the technical skills may improve, that particular piece is something that makes me think that I did much better than what I currently do today. Sometimes I'll get hits where I think I did a pretty good job, but a lot of times I'm always trying to outdo the past work that I've done. So anyway, back to the drawing. You'll notice that I tend to change her hair color. I noticed it was a little bit too pink, a bit too saturated for her hair. Her hair tends to be more of a desaturated sort of pink, so I do a lot of color correction. I don't know if you noticed, but I tend to change my mind a lot throughout my artwork. If I make a color choice, it's very likely that I will not stick to that color choice. I would probably change it to another one. Usually, what I try to do is off camera, I work with a color palette and put them together almost like a thumbnail sort of look, just to see the overall colors of it. I tend to get a good idea and then use those colors as pretty much my base. If you ever see me think I made a decision on a final color piece, which a lot of times I will not. So yeah, recently I'm still kind of experimenting with the way I'm shading my characters. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm liking the hatching sort of style. I am liking going back to how I originally used to render my characters, where what I would usually do is combine all the line art together, change the color from black to more of a red, browny sort of color, and lower the opacity, and use that as like a underbase color. And what I tend to do is I draw on top, draw in more of a harsher brown, almost black sort of color to more define the lines of the character, especially around the eyes, the face, the hair. Clothes, I tend to just color match the clothes and not really put too much dark shading into it, at least for the rendering part of it. But I've talked for a little bit now. Still getting a little used to it, but I think I'm starting to get better at talking into a mic. I think the quality of the mic is okay, for the moment at least. I don't feel like trying to find a different one or get a better one. I think it's fine as is for the moment. But yeah, thank you for watching as far as you have. I always get happy when people enjoy my art and watch my videos. Always makes my day and makes me happy. I have recently gotten a job, but for the weekends, I will still work on my art and probably still work drawing for my own purposes after work. Drawing is still one of my main hobbies that I do next to watching anime. However, I'm still going to keep posting every week, at least try to, one video a week, and try to communicate more within my community tab, post more of my art there. I tend to slack off a little bit doing that since I'm not really using Instagram anymore. I'll probably talk more about Instagram in the future, but in this moment of time, it's not my focus anymore, like how it used to be in the past. But now I'm just focusing more on my YouTube channel. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Thanks again for watching and hope to see you next week. Bye!